Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sam United People's TV here to kick off another show. You know the drill by now. Going to run through the latest Manchester United news, and of course, the main talking point is Ruben Amorim. It's going to be his future. Now, yesterday, I'll be honest, if I wanted to, I probably could have made like 3 videos. Oh, player leaks. The dressing room. He's lost the dressing room. He's got the support. Well, he doesn't have support. He's backed. He's sacked. It's absolutely predictable that all these stories are going to come out the day after a grim defeat. They happen every single time, and they happened again yesterday. Who could possibly have predicted that player leak stories of an unhappy dressing room would have come out, apart from absolutely every United fan? I'm going to cover everything that happened yesterday and bring you completely up to date. So I'll cover what was said on Sky, The Telegraph, Ben Jacobs as well, The Mirror, the Daily Mail, all of them. Niv actually saying, how do you do this, Sam? I can't make it anymore. I'm just depressed. Honestly, I sometimes think that myself. I really do sometimes think that myself. But I hate that I love United. I'm not going anywhere. I'm privileged, and I've said this so many times. I'm privileged the fact that I get to do this as my job. It's just almost ironically hilarious. Well, it is hilarious, really. Objecting that from the outside, if you're not a United fan, it is hilarious of the fact that my first season ticket was David Moyes' year, and I've been doing this properly since 2015, since Louis van Gaal took over. Well, you chose a good decade, Sam. Well done. Right. Anyway. Let me see who's here from the mod and the member gang, and let's get on with today's show. I'm going to try my best to cover all the news properly. Now, I'll tell you what, today's lunchtime video is going to be my opinion video on the Amorim situation. The good, the bad, plenty of it, and just my honest opinion on kind of where I stand right now. It is my fault, Steph. I apologise about that. But good morning to you. Good morning to Ant. Good morning to Josh. Jim, I can see you there as well. Lurking. How you doing, buddy? Steve Brooks, we've got Tony Dangler. Mike, we've got Shane Greedon. We've got Vince. Let's go say hi to some non-members as well. Sam Castrovision. Sounds like some sort of fancy character. Morning, dude. Ashwin. Jerry. We've got Adekola. And we've got D-Roy and Chris. Good morning to everyone. Please do get involved in the chat. And I'll try and engage with as many of you as I possibly can. Right? Can we start with this? Have you ever got roll sleeves up here? I'm getting on the show now. Have you ever seen like a more like an easier opportunity for Man United to do something so simple? And I don't know, call it a PR win if you want. I'm not sure if you saw this story. This lad here was pouring pints at the Etihad for the derby on Sunday. And he was wearing a United shirt. He was then promptly sacked by City. And by the way, surely, right, regardless of whether United give him a job or not, surely this lad can sue for wrongful dismissal. There is no way that you can get sacked fairly for wearing a football shirt of another team. Unless they've got a uniform. If they've got a uniform and he wore that, well, maybe, I don't know. Either way, it feels like it's the easiest thing in the world. Just give him a job at Old Trafford. Exactly down there. Anyway, United, come on. Surely you can't miss. That is an open goal. That is an absolute open goal. If United missed that, they are stupid. So they probably will miss it. Right? What was she saying down here? Lamey with a very random comment. The biggest mistake was to sack Mourinho. Biggest mistake was to sack Mourinho. No, the biggest mistake that we made was giving the job to David Moyes. And that was Fergie's fault. Man, what? I mean, there is no worse decision. Jeez, you're sport for choice here. But there surely is no worse decision than Fergie choosing Moyes as his successor. You can talk about anything that followed since, but that's 7 months. The only thing good about that 7 months was Adnan Januzaj. Where is he now? Did Sociedad he plays for? I don't know. Right. Joe, you're saying there was a recent court case involving Spurs that ruled you can discriminate based on support. Well, if you can discriminate based on support, then surely you've got to put that down in, I don't know, you get a job. What team do you support? You support United. Never mind, you can't pull pints. No, surely not. Otherwise, I'd have to put that down as an opening question on when you get the job in the first place. Don't know. Anyway, right, let's speak about this man. And you're saying we all know Fergie wanted Pep. Didn't they have like dinner a couple of times? Jeez, I don't want to go back and I've already got enough misery and pain to deal with right now with what's going on with Ruben Amorim. I don't need to open all the other boxes and have a conversation about what happened previously. We'll be here all day and it really will just be depression central. But Ruben Amorim, right? I've said quite a few times in different videos that I'm going to be a bit lost and confused if it doesn't work out with Ruben Amorim. And I meant that. Like, we've tried every single flavour of manager, almost like internal appointments, external. We've gone for the best. We've gone for the most experienced. We've gone for the short-term winners. We've gone from the up-and-coming. We've gone for the second version of the up-and-coming. And we've gone every single which way. We've driven left. We've gone in reverse. Every gear, every manager, everything. And still nothing has brought a sort of sustained period of growth. And with Ruben Amorim, last season was horrendous. Christos, you're down there saying you should do a video on pressures of playing, coaching us. Dude, I'll be honest. That video there I imagine it's going to be, so this season, the ambition, right? I've already told this a million times, like, the Netflix of United content. I've got the ambition this season to do at least three documentaries that are over 20 minutes in length. Kind of a slower pace. Not sure if any of you OGs used to watch Vice back in the day, but I used to love Vice content. And I think that same style of content, you can tell so many good football stories through that style. It's a little bit slower. It's not what football fans are used to. But we've proved with the mini docs that we've started introducing that you guys enjoy them, and girls. So one of the ones I really want to do is sort of the pressures of playing for Manchester United, the pressures of managing Manchester United. And they're almost two different, in fact, they are. They're two different videos. And they're two different documentaries. But there's so many things that you'd have to explore that they would be like 20-minute plus videos. So I promise you we're going to be working on those. But these are the sorts of videos that are going to be easily by far the most ambitious that we've ever done on the channel. So it's going to be a while before we get them done. Yep, Jim, the survey proved that people want the docs as well. Now that Jim's here, and I've already said this to you, we are working on something in the background that I promise you will be the most exciting thing that I think we've ever done as a channel. And it's sort of everything that we've been working towards is this point. Unfortunately, at that exact same time, we're going through another cycle now. Oh, is it another cycle? I think the thing for me is we finished 15th last year and we lost the Europa League final. And it was as brutal as a season can possibly get in the Premier League. Like, I don't think United will ever finish. Like, you can laugh, you can point and say, well, Sam, we're going to be in a relegation scrap this year, but we won't be because there are going to be three worse teams than United, truth be told. But we're now 14th after 4 games. It's been an improvement in certain areas of performances, but you kind of, a little bit, let's be honest, you're clutching at straws. So what's been reported by the press? I'm going to run through everything, all right? Because there's lots of different ones. This is Rob Dorsett from Sky yesterday. You can see the time, 12:30. The noise outside Old Trafford is growing, but patience is the key word within the club. Amorim won't change his style. United have no plan or desire to change the head coach, I'm told. Although all sides except the current woes cannot continue long term. Let's read the article, see what it says. Ruben Amorim has promised he won't change his footballing philosophy, and his bosses at United have no plans to change a head coach. The club has a long-term plan, and while there is obvious and growing frustration with results, there will be no knee-jerk reaction or regular reassessment of the head coach's future after every defeat, however loud the noise grows from outside. We go along here. Mike Keegan in the Daily Mail. Ruben Amorim retains the backing of the Manchester United board. Belief remains that he is the man to turn it around, and impact of injuries noted. I mean, you're kind of begging if you're holding on to the injuries. Let's be completely honest. Injuries going into the City game, maybe. Other than that, injuries haven't been a problem this season. Cunha Mount probably would have made a difference against City, I'll be totally honest, but let's not pretend that we can use injuries as an excuse. That's ridiculous. But this is what they're saying. United have no plans to sack Amorim despite grim derby defeat, cranking up the pressure as board believe they are making progress. Amorim retains the backing of the United board, who remain of the view that he is a man to turn the club's fortunes around. Let's see, we scroll down here, go past 400 adverts. Daily Mail Sports understands there are no plans to fire him, who joined midway through last season, and a view that despite results, progress is being made. As I said, I'm just kind of like running through here. Someone down there saying it seems like the dreaded vote of confidence. Not really. This is journalists doing their digging rather than a brief coming out. I suppose it is a kind of a brief a little bit. But these stories always happen after a defeat. They really do. This is the BBC. United officials have repeatedly stressed they regard Amorim's appointment as a long-term project, and nothing communicated in the aftermath of Sunday's loss is at odds with that. So it's the BBC there, that's Sky Sports, that's the Daily Mail. We now move on to the Telegraph. Yeah, you can see the pattern here. So I suppose it is a brief. It is clear as day that no matter what you say in the chat, no matter how angry or loud some people shout, Ineos have got absolutely no intention of shifting away from Ruben Amorim. They've got no intention of sacking Ruben Amorim and bringing someone else in. Ben Jacobs here saying Ratcliffe feels the United squad is good enough to qualify for the Champions League. Amorim's going nowhere. As far as the club is concerned. And if we lose to Chelsea, you can come in the chat and we can be angry about it if we want, but the club is not going to be shifting away from it. I think it's clear and obvious that no matter, I suppose, I mean, what is clear and obvious about it, actually, really? I'm like, shut up, can you stop doing that? Insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. I might ban the word insanity. Because it's got absolutely nothing to do with that definition. It's just someone said it and there was like, oh, just take that. Oh. There's no way that Ruben Amorim, this is my opinion here, there's no way that Ruben Amorim can just have unequivocal support. Like a head in the sand. Don't worry, it'll work out with him. All we need is time and patience. I mean, come on, right? Come on. And I've already spoken about the fact that I think that Ruben needs to tweak his team. And that's going to be a video I do tomorrow. But let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. If anybody mentions the word insanity, I'm going to ban you. Ragav is saying, Bruno's our all-star, but surely if the new philosophy is ruthless pragmatism, he should be rotated more with Cunha and Mbumo and give space for Mainu to come in. Hey, look, I've spoken about that quite a few times. That right there, I think, is a problem that Ruben Amorim himself is creating. I think I already said this in another video, and I'll say, if Ruben Amorim was completely and utterly honest and open about Bruno, Mainu, and the future plans, you know what I honestly think he'd say? He goes, right, okay, well, Bruno's here this year and he's our captain, but it's the club's intentions to move him on next summer and shake hands and say thank you very much for all the service. And it's our intention, therefore, to then put Kobbie Mainu in as Bruno's replacement. We're not going to sign a replacement for Bruno. We're going to sell him, and that's where Mainu's future is. So for this season, I've just kind of got to do whatever I possibly can to keep Mainu happy with the game time he's getting whilst getting the most out of Bruno. And that's a really difficult situation to be in. Now, some of you, I know plenty of you wanted Bruno to be sold in the summer. I personally didn't. I wanted one more season of Bruno in this whole transition year and loads of changes. I thought that one more year of Bruno would have been valuable. But we all kind of knew the issues that exist with Bruno in a deeper role. And that's where the compromises really, they've not worked at all so far. Right, let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Should a captain be the manager on the pitch? Should a captain be the manager on the pitch? Well, isn't that exactly what a captain is? The captain is the leader. The captain is who you turn to when, I don't know, you're 1-0 down. What do we do, captain? Or you're 1-0 up, what do we do? The captain is supposed to be the person that knows everything that the manager wants and knows everything about where everybody should be at kind of at any one point in time during a game. The captain is who you turn to when you're worried about what's going on. That's surely like legitimately the only reason captains exist, right? It's like the chief player. Mike saying, thoughts on Brent blaming Sir Jim in every show? Hey, dude, man. Like, I don't want to speak about him. I really, really don't. I do not like how he covers our football club. I do not think he helps our football club in any way, shape or form. And this is the perfect environment for him. All player leaks. Oh, let's drop a headline. Oh, dressing room unrest. Let's throw the grenade out there. Oh, backing or sacking the manager. Double grenade. Bang, bang. Yum, 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 yum. That's his diet. That's his currency. That's his lifestyle. And it does not help this football club. That's why I try my best. As I said, I could have gone live like twice yesterday. I could jump on. Oh, I could nibble on that Chris Wheeler headline. Oh, I could nibble on this one. I could do a separate video. But don't fucking pretend that you're pissed off with the media and how bad the media is. Oh, virtue signaling. And you go and run with 3 or 4 bloody headlines by that same media that you're pretending not to like, but you engage with it. You fuel and fire the flames. Stop lying to yourself. You are exactly the same as them. You may as well rebrand as Daily Mail. So don't pretend that you're better than them. Yes, it annoys me. You know it annoys me. What was I saying down here? Just stick Mainu and Ugarte in midfield for 5 consecutive games and it will change? I don't think it will. I really do not think that there is any midfield combination that will make United's midfield all of a sudden great. I don't know why the chat's now decided to freeze. It's interesting. Right, there's more stuff that we need to run through here. This now, you know full well that I spoke about this yesterday. I'm going to be doing a video on just the one tweak that I think... I was going to do this during the international break, and I kind of held off on it. But I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm not a king tactician. I'm not a Premier League manager. I can't tell you how to coach. But I can tell you that it's not. I can tell you that it's not working. And look at the table. I know that if Manchester United had better finishing against Arsenal, then we wouldn't have lost 1-0. I could also say last season, there were probably, I reckon, somewhere between 5 to 10 games, something like that, somewhere between 5 to 10 games where United, if our finishing was better, we would have got far more points last season and we wouldn't have finished 15th. But the finishing wasn't better. The individual mistakes were there. I would say there's less individual... No, who am I kidding? Individual mistake in the first point cost us 2 games. Fulham, what was their goal? I think that was... Who was it? Was it Delo losing the ball and then Bruno losing his... Bruno's kind of lost his man twice, actually. Emil Smith-Rowe and Phil Foden. It's almost like when you play an attacking midfielder in a central midfield position, he's instinctively not... I saw someone yesterday leave a comment on the live show trying to say I'm making excuses for Bruno operating in central midfield. It's like, I'm not making excuses, fella. Dude's not a central midfielder. I know it's clear and obvious that you should track your runner. But Bruno doesn't think like that instinctively. He has to go, oh, there's a split second in his mind. He's like, oh, balls, got to track my runner. But his runner's already gone. You don't have thinking time in those environments and situations. It needs to be instinctive. And the only way it is instinctive is if you play a player in the position they've been training in their whole life. So it becomes muscle memory. It becomes instinctive. You don't have to think about it. It's already happening. That's what Bruno's like going forward. That is not what Bruno's like towards his own box. Hence why he's not tracked the runner of Emil Smith-Rowe or Phil Foden. And it's no coincidence. But anyway, right? This idea that Ruben Amorim won't change his own system. I did this video yesterday, as we do after every single game, what we learned watching. And it's so easy and obvious to point out the midfield flaws that the midfield 2 has. And look, right, I know Paul Scholes loves a good moan. But this is Paul Scholes speaking about the midfield, right? This is what he said. Because I don't think the quality is there. Whatever 2 out of the 4 that they've got in midfield, Casemiro, Bruno, Kobe, whatever combination he seems to try, it doesn't work. It's a big issue. I thought all summer, the absolute priority was a central midfielder with legs who can play and control a game. Goalkeeper was a major issue. Did they really need to wait to get to the Grimsby game to realise Onana's not good enough? I haven't disagreed with anything he said here. If United were not in the market for Donnarumma when he became available, that's a criminal offence. That's simply down to money. I think surely Scholes knows that. The wages that he's getting there is crazy. The United were never going to pay that. The recruitment side went to buy forwards that did need addressing, but did it need 3 of them? Highlighting this. I've said this a million times. After United signed Cunha and Mbeumo, how much did we sign Šeško for in the end? Man United signed Šeško to 74 mil. Yeah. If I was to have 74 mil after signing Mbeumo and Cunha, I would have gone for a central midfielder. And if Manchester United had the ability to open conversations about Carlos Baleba with Brighton after we signed Šeško, then if you take that 74 mil that was coming from Šeško and you put that into Carlos, then you could have signed him. I agree with Scholes on that. I said that the whole way through. My priority after those 2 would have been a central midfielder. It's not what United went for. And United, and Ineos' strategy was clearly, let's just score loads of goals. Now, Siegs, look, so you're saying that Šeško played all right. Yeah, Šeško did play fine. And this isn't a critique of Šeško as an individual at all. This is a critique of approach. I still think United had a pretty good start. You can't ignore the elephant in the room about the midfielder. But I don't know. I know why United did it. United went for goals. They brought Cunha in, they brought in Mbeumo in, they brought Šeško in. He goes, right, I know that we're not going to have the midfield control this season, but as long as we just keep banging in goals, which would be fine if we were banging in goals. But the problem is, you see, Arsenal, how many chances did we have? We didn't score once. Burnley, how many chances did we have? It took until the 97th minute for a penalty to get the winner. Fulham, we should have scored 2 in that first half. I usually say Wilcox overruled Amorim when it came to the sort of Šeško versus midfielder debate. It was Jason Wilcox who pushed to sign a striker. I thought that was a mistake at the time in terms of strategy. And I stand by that. I don't need that game against City to understand that. I don't need any game this season to understand that whatever we've got in terms of this midfield, it's a compromise. Now, why is that chat not working? Why have you just completely and utterly frozen? There's no need for you to freeze. Are you going to be working again now? There we go. We're back in the room. Apologies about that. 1 second here. There we go. Let me see what you're saying in the chat now. I can read it again. Summer transfers were good, says Colin, but should have got an experienced oven-ready keeper. Oven-ready, baby. And not frozen, oven-ready. Emi Martinez would have cost too much and his wages were more than Onana. Villa were just going to be unreasonable. And Donnarumma, we were never going to pay those wages. Manchester United, if this summer Manchester United were operating as Manchester United should be, as we all know we should be, as one of the top 3 biggest clubs in the world, Donnarumma would have been in the door and there wouldn't have been one question about it. What do you mean? The Champions League winning 26-year-old goalkeeper at a time we need? Yeah, boom, in you come. Yep, we can afford your wages. Yep, our finances are fine. Yep, in you come. No questions asked. Onana, off you pop. That's just not the condition of our football club. Right? I'm pretty sure that Donnarumma's wages are going to be somewhere in the region of Mbeumo and Cunha's combined. And you're saying Binder's only cost us once so far this season. I don't think it's fair to blame it on him. There's going to be people that will feel that he could have done probably more for the second goal, where sort of, in terms of how he came out with it, but I think that you kind of like, I don't know. Screw that, man. Binder just gives me the shits. It's the only way I can describe it with him. Look, what's clear from Sky Sports, from Daily Mail, from the BBC, from the Telegraph, from everything and everyone. The Athletic's not said anything on this, to be fair. And I don't particularly think they get involved in this sort of stuff. United are not considering sacking Amorim. Richard, you're saying, Sam, can you confidently say that we will set up any differently for the Chelsea game? I mean, no. Absolutely not. But Ruben Amorim's got to have some awareness here. Surely. He knows about the results. I know he believes in the system. But right now, it's just not getting the results that we need. Would we have got a different result if Cunha? Maybe. Would we have got a different result if bloody hell? The first 15 minutes against City pissed me off so much, man, because the system really worked. First 15 minutes away from home in a game like City away. The only thing you're really thinking is just don't concede in the first 15 minutes, and then after that you open yourselves up, and then not in a bad way, but you then sort of you go forward a bit more. That's typically what you do in these games. The first 15 minutes against City were probably the best 15 minutes that we had in the whole game. There were 3, maybe 4 occasions where we just needed the right weight of pass, and we would have been clean through. Bruno making a weird decision to go left, I think, to Dorgu instead of right to Mbeumo. There was another one where it was through to Mbeumo and it was just overhit. Samir saying, I don't want to jump on the Amorim out wagon. I'm about to. But what happens if by the next break United hasn't won at least 4 or 6 points? Then this conversation repeats. What we're saying here. Conversation repeats. United are making it abundantly clear, no matter what happens in terms of a result, no matter how bad it is. Hey, look, I'll tell you what. You can say what you want there, but if we now don't get the right sort of results against in these next 3 games, we've got Chelsea, Sunderland and Brentford. Chelsea's, Brentford, Sunderland in that order. And then an international break, and then we've got Anfield. It's always, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like it's always the games against City and Liverpool, and kind of rightly so when you think they're our rivals, right? They're the ones that snap managers. If I remember correctly, Solskjaer lost to City and Liverpool. Was it 4-0 each? It was bad. There were 2 bad results in the space of like 10 days. And that was when I've sort of lost it with Solskjaer. If I remember correctly, Mourinho's last game was Liverpool away? Was it? It was certainly towards the end. No, David Moyes was the one who lost against Liverpool and City back-to-back. That was when Fellaini got sent off, I think. Fellaini was playing like left mid. I don't know. Someone got sent off early and then Moyes crapped himself. I remember that. It's like Moyes, I can't remember what. No, Van Gaal wasn't, because Van Gaal was a dick and sacked him after the FA Cup final, not World Cup final. But Moyes, Solskjaer, and Mourinho, I remember those games are the ones that... I know Ollie's last game was Watford. I already know that. But that's because the damage was done going into Watford. It's just that the Watford one was like, all right, okay, well, this really is game over. My point is, these games matter more. Of course they do. And especially at times when the pressure is on. So I'll be interested to see what happens if we don't get the right results in the next 3 games. And then we go to Liverpool away. I'm already crapping myself at that. Man, Liverpool have been naff this season. But they are sneaking results. They are absolutely sneaking results. Now, let's go on to the most predictable stories that was ever going to come out yesterday. Who could possibly expect that the Daily Mail is the one to run with this? What do you mean the Athletic aren't reporting this? What do you mean the Times aren't reporting this? What do you mean the BBC aren't reporting this? The Telegraph aren't either. It's the Daily Mail. Let's run with the headline. Let's go with it. Let's have this conversation. He's losing the dressing room. The players are losing faith in Amorim again. Fueling the fire. You can choose not to cover something that you think is being said to fuel the fire. It is a choice. Do not even try and pretend that it is not a choice. I chose not to cover this until today. Others don't. So damn predictable. They don't even if there's any truth to this, right? Okay, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. And then there's truth to it. You don't need any truth to just write that headline, because it's the easiest thing in the world, right? Well, you're not at 14. Yeah. So United lost 3-0 to City. I reckon players are probably losing faith in the headlines. Headlines? I reckon players are losing... when you're reading comments I reckon players are losing faith in him. Should we just do it? Yeah, go on then. Let's run with it. Yeah, let's run with it. Anyway, let's see what it says. United are backing Amorim, but players are losing confidence in his system. Amorim insisted in the way the Portuguese remains blah, 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 blah. It's understood some players have never been comfortable with a 3-2... don't like the 3-2. I'm not going to read that. Yeah. So damn predictable. So damn predictable, man. And I'll say it one more time. I'll say it again and again. I'll scream it from the rooftops. And I'll get into arguments if you want. Do not pretend that you can point the finger at the media and say, there's all of these vultures. You're doing the exact same thing. You are part of it. If not arguably more so, because this is how so many people now consume news. Something I've realised. I don't know whether it's just a younger generation thing, but it's like papers rarely get picked up these days. News is digital. So this is how people do consume news now. Clive, thank you very much, dude, down there. Gifting 10 memberships. You ledge. I do love this community. I do love having the chat that we have every single day, man. I appreciate it, because it feels like there's plenty of like-minded Reds here. I'm leaning back too much, sound cutting up. My bad. Captain T1 saying our formation is fine, but the system style of play doesn't allow for flexibility. Drop one of the 10 into midfield when we defend. Is it that hard? Hey, look, dude. I'm going to run through a couple of things in my lunchtime video tomorrow that feels so bloody basic. It's what I mean. Like you're saying, like the formation's fine. Like, I think the formation is fine. But having 2 in midfield is not fine. How do you tweak that? It's like one small change. And I think that's what kind of what's annoying me so far. What What's going on down here? People saying the mic is clipping out. Yeah, it's because I'm leaning back. I will now sit here. Right, what are we saying down here? What else are we all saying about it then? If we lose to Chelsea next week, it's going to add immense pressure to Amorim. As it should, man. Of course it should. Look where we are. Right? And then on top of this, right, United stars are losing faith in Amorim's system. And we go down here. A little bit more. What we got down here? Oh, it's got to go past 400 adverts. Players are still struggling to get to grips with Amorim's style almost 11 months after he took over. They're not struggling to get to grips with it. Like, they know what he wants. It's just physically very demanding. That's the issue. And even one of his staunchest allies, Captain Bruno Fernandes, is believed to be unhappy operating in a deeper midfield role. Bruno's unhappy. He's lost the captain. Well, let's just go back to an interview that Bruno Fernandes himself gave to Manchester United. Oh, God, stupid website. Mate, the United website's so bad. Bruno Fernandes here. He anticipates a shift in position. This was written towards the end of last season. Let's scroll down and let's read. I have played, however, especially last season with Ten Hag, deeper. In fact, against Everton, I played number 6. Blah, 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 blah. It's a position I like. Playing deeper. Facing the game more. I'll be honest. If Bruno was being completely truthful, Bruno would say, look, I'm the captain of this club, and I will do whatever my manager asks of me. If he asks me to play in goal, I'll play in goal. If he asks me to Mooney the away end, I'll Mooney the away end. If he asks me to play as a deeper number 6, I'll play as a deeper number 6. But if I'm being completely honest, I'm better towards the opposition's goal. And that's sometimes when you can, like, you're almost not too loyal or too good a team player. I don't know the right way to describe it. For some reason, the only other example I've got in my head is like you know when Wayne Rooney had injuries? And even if he had an injury, he probably wouldn't even tell anybody how bad it was, and he would just keep playing on it. Like after remember that Bayern Munich game? Where he did his ankle in the away leg, and then 2 weeks later he's back at Old Trafford in the starting 11. Shouldn't have been nowhere near the starting 11. But he just refused to say no. I think Bruno will not say no to anything that gets asked of him by Ruben Amorim. Even if it's not exactly what he wants to do. The idea that Bruno Fernandes is unhappy playing there, I do think he'd be happier going forward, but that's what I mean. It's one of those headlines where it's like, it's such an easy thing to say because it doesn't need any sort of evidence to back it up. Because it's one of those headlines that just kind of makes logical sense. United players are losing faith in Ruben Amorim's system. Well, of course they are. And you just throw it into the masses and they'll just gobble it all up. Well, of course they're losing faith in it. And then you just get into an argument with people. Of course Bruno Fernandes wouldn't be as happy playing as a number 6 compared to what he's playing in a number 10. But it's just... These are the sorts of things that I try and argue. And these are the sorts of things why United are closing the doors. That's why I'm not getting any access to working with the club. As much as I've tried my hardest to try and cut through and make United People's TV different, we're getting lumped into the same category as other channels. And as a consequence, we're losing any ability to get direct access to the club that we love, that we feel that we would cover properly and better. It is what it is. Andy's saying it is the captain's responsibility to challenge the manager, though things aren't working. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Bruno Fernandes has good capabilities as a captain, but also bad ones. He's not Roy Keane. And I don't think anybody else ever will be Roy Keane. Roy Keane really was a one-of-one captain. And like, comparing other captains to comparing other United captains to Roy Keane is like comparing United seasons to when we won the treble. Like, nothing's going to ever compare. You're permanently going to be left disappointed because you've tasted the rainbow. You've had the best steak in the world, and unless you have that again, You won't be happy. We're never going to have another another Roy Keane captain. But if this, right, is indeed correct, like, back Ruben Amorim as data shows improvement. I hate that idea. I've spoken about how important I think data is in a modern game, and it is important, massively important, should be used correctly. And this idea that, I don't know, there's a round table going on, Jason Wilcox is there, and like Michael Sansoni, who's the new director of data, rocks up and goes, lads, I know you're upset, but don't worry, because I've got a graph here that's going to make you smile. Look at this pie chart. Doesn't that make you have so much more belief in Ruben Amorim? Ah, there we go. All my problems, they faded away. I find that quite funny, but not in a good way. The eye test is all a football fan needs when you watch a game like that against City. Like, I don't need data to tell me how bad United were in that game. I don't need data to tell me the first 15 minutes were sound. After that, City just had a stranglehold of that game, and we just, let's be honest, stupid individual defensive mistakes. It was ugly. First goal, we let Foden go. Bruno didn't mark his man. Second goal, got played around, a little bit of quality, ran in behind. Shaw couldn't get anywhere near Haaland. I'm not sure anybody could have at that point in time. That was a quality goal. I'll probably call that one. The third one was an absolute catastrophe. I think it was Shaw trying to pass it sideways, or someone passed it to Shaw, too short, went to Bernardo Silva, bounced back to Maguire. Maguire tried to pass it back to Shaw, missed it, gave it back to bloody Silva, and then Haaland was like 6 yards in his own half. With the entire team there, 3-on goal, 3-0. Yeah, data has its value in modern football, and if you don't use data, you will be left behind. But data in isolation is not enough. Data is only as valuable as the person who can interpret it. Now, I've said that before. Same way as like United's scouting department in the past. It's not been through a lack of information that we've failed. It's been through who's interpreted that information, who's taken that information, absorbed it, and gone, right, this is the player we need to sign for these reasons. So yeah, the idea that you can just like speak about Ruben Amorim and all the good things from a data perspective is just hilarious. But look, don't worry about it though, because Dave McDonald from the Mirror has said that Ruben Amorim's losing the dressing room. So predictable that you could. It was either Jamie Jackson or it was David McDonald. It's one of those two that is going to say that he's losing the dressing room. Because you don't have to prove it. Ketchup sauces. And then you got, well, actually, it would be wrong to suggest that he's lost the dressing room, mate. It's just, I don't know what you want to call it. Yesterday was an absolute scattergun in the press. Just articles and stories coming out everywhere. I could have gone live 3 times yesterday with 3 major headlines, and the chat would have been going nuts. And all I would have done would be to fuel the fire even more among the United fan base. Now, I do these shows every single day, Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. And I will always continue to do that. After every win, I'm here. After every defeat, I'm here. Now, something that did happen at the weekend, which I thought was I don't know. Presumably, if United had beaten City, this story would never have come out. I don't think so. A Benfica delegation were at the Etihad to witness the Derby demolition, which is a little bit of a stretch because the person who was there is the leading candidate to become the club's next president. So they're saying that if João Lopez becomes the next Benfica president, then there's a possibility that he would then hire Ruben Amorim as Benfica's manager and bring him back. As I said, I'm not sure this story would have emerged if United had beaten City. I think this is a story that has emerged as a consequence of United losing to City. And therefore, in this environment, this story will travel better. If United had beaten City, there wouldn't have been an appetite to know that there was a Portuguese Benfica delegation there to watch Ruben Amorim. That's just a bit of the truth. Because of the environment that it is, it's like it's a sort of article that will get picked up and gobbled up by people. God's honest truth. If Ruben Amorim just plows on with what he is currently doing, with the way that we are currently set up, I think it only ends in one way. It would take a big surprise for me right now. It would take a big surprise for United to turn it around. Like, United could go against Chelsea. Now, we're going to get chances against Chelsea. We're really going to get chances again. We know that. If we start finding the bloody back of the net with our chances, everything changes. Like, goals change everything. That Burnley game, you saw how pissed off Ruben Amorim was on the sidelines. I couldn't even celebrate a 97th minute winner. He's like, why have you got to make everything so damn difficult? Is it really that hard for you to kick that ball into the back of that net that you train all week for? Is it really that difficult to put that into a game environment? I mean, yes is the answer. And if we start scoring goals, every conversation changes. Easier said than done. Formation-wise, overall control-wise, midfield-wise, I do not see how there's going to be a solution this season if Ruben Amorim's sticking to what he's doing. So the biggest way that change comes is if we simply just start burying our chances. And look, yeah, Marcus, you're speaking about Chelsea's midfield. They've got Caicedo. They've got Enzo Fernandez. Garnacho's going to be coming back to Old Trafford. Heck of a game, really. That, for me, is going to be how it changes with Ruben Amorim. It's just we simply start scoring the bloody goals and we start taking our chances. I think going into the City game, what was it? Our conversion rate was 6% in the league. Liverpool's was somewhere in the region of between 20 and 30%. You can do the maths. 6%. For every 100 shots we'd have on goal, we'd bloody score 6. It's outrageous. Stephen, you're saying, you know what, Sam? I can take the defeat against City. It was a manner of the defeat, wasn't it? Yeah, man. I was sitting there watching it. Like, I went into that game, honestly, and I didn't think I was being delusional here. I went into that game thinking, I'm more confident than I was against Burnley. Going into that Burnley game, I know how Burnley are going to set up. I know how much we struggle against low blocks. What if they get an early goal? I went into the City game going, I know it's City. Yeah, Haaland's going to be dangerous. Yeah, I know they're going to be dangerous, but they're going to play out. They're going to leave space. We do have quality. If we take those chances, mate, we can win this game. We just didn't. First 15 minutes, had the opportunity to create, I would say, 3 golden opportunities. We created none. Then City got a stranglehold in the game. Our midfield got overrun. They scored that goal. And from then on, it was awful. There wasn't really... And there was a point after they were 3-0 up where United got back into the game, but that's because United were 3-0 up. Akari saying, is there more pressure on Wilcox than Amorim as his decision was to recruit goals? Nah. Wilcox is hiding in the background. Wilcox is a football director. All the pressure's on Ruben Amorim. But as you can see from all the reports yesterday, it's clear and obvious that United, no matter how much noise there is on social, on YouTube, on Twitter, on everywhere, no matter how much noise there is among the United fan base or even in the media, Ineos are going to stick to their plan, that what they have in front of them. Now, that in itself can be delusional. You know, just in general, not saying Ineos, but just in general, just like being so steadfast and call it stubborn in your own direction that despite the mounting evidence that piles up, that you still go, no, this is going to work. Now, I'm not going to say that that's where it's going with Ruben Amorim, but it's one of two things to change Ruben Amorim. We start scoring goals. Bloody hell, we need to start scoring goals. When you spend all your money this summer on Cunha and Buma and Šeško, you've got to be scoring 2 to 3 goals a game. That's it. That was the mantra going into this season. Not done it. Didn't score 1 against Arsenal. Scored 1 against Fulham that was an own goal. Scored 3 against Burnley. Should have been 5. But United were good in that game and we were good for the win. And we got pumped 3-0 by City. So there's only one game where we scored more than 1 goal in the first 4. There's your problem with the season. Right there. Because goals can... I'm not saying that goals can paper over the cracks. But goals equal results, equals time. Everything is to do with the bloody goals, man. To fucking find the back of the goddamn net. How hard is it? I know it's the hardest thing in football and all that jazz. But when you spend 200 million on 3... And Šeško's only started his first game. But just score, lads. Everything, absolutely everything becomes easier when you score goals. The pressure. The time on your own confidence and ability. Everything good is inflated by scoring goals, and every pressure is deflated by scoring goals. That's the killer for United right now. And we wouldn't be talking about our midfield as much if we were scoring goals. But when you aren't scoring goals, it's bare, then everything else gets scrutinised. Oh, bloody hell. Don't talk about those misses by... The game was done at that point, but and Buma, the ball got fired into him right at the end of the City game. The Casemiro, I was like, how'd you miss that one? United's plan this season was to go into games and just simply score more than the opposition. It wasn't really about controlling games. It wasn't really about keeping clean sheets. It was about scoring more. And we failed miserably on that so far. By scoring 1 goal. No. 4 goals in 4 games. Right. I'm going to wrap that one up for today. I'm going to put my lunchtime video out on Amorim. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to sort of detail it out in a little 10-minute video because the live show, it's all about you guys and girls and hearing your opinions. Man, I've said this so many times. I'm going to keep repeating it, man. Like, I'm so glad that I got to enjoy 10, 15 years of being a United fan. Because the last 10 have been an absolute torture. And you get to see it every single bloody day. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here at lunchtime today. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all your comments. I'll be here tomorrow, right? If you are new, please do consider subscribing. I'll see you soon.